We want to welcome you to today's news conference. I'm Rick Cameron from the Marketing Communications Office. These are very exciting days for Mercer and especially for Mercer Athletics. We thank each one of you for joining us today. Our news conference will consist of a special announcement to be made by Jim Cole, the Mercer Athletic Director, and then we'll have remarks by President William D. Underwood, John Collier, who is the President of the Mercer Athletic Foundation, and Diane Owens, the Chair of the Mercer University Board of Trustees. At the conclusion, we certainly will make time available for anyone to ask a question, especially our friends in the news media that might ask a question following the group presentation, but then we'll break down for individual interviews by the various media. But at this time, I'd like to bring to the podium and introduce the Athletic Director of Mercer University, Mr. Jim Cole.
Thank you, Rick, and welcome. It's a great day, isn't it? We're glad to be here for the big announcement of the unveiling of what our stadium is going to look like. That's to let the people know that are going to ask questions about our stadium that we're working on it. We're here for the first step of that great journey. The person that's going to help us sell the vision of what Mercer football and its facilities will look like in the future. I think back, it was a short 2 months ago, almost to the day, that we were announcing that we were starting football. We've come a long way in 2 months, and I've been totally impressed with the process. I have a lot of thanks that I want to tell. I want to tell thanks to our steering committee. I see a few of those individuals here today. I'm not going to name them because I know I'm going to leave one out, and so they're very valuable to this process. They made some great recommendations, and they've made a great recommendation of who we should hire. If you think back to when we had this press conference, we had a great leader and a coach here advising us. His name was Grant Taff, a great leader of that Baylor program for years and a great leader in the Football Coaches Association. He told me down in my office, he said, you need to do two things to start a program. You got to get a great leader and a good quarterback. Now, today, I'm going to provide to you and introduce to you a great leader. And I'm going to leave it up to him to get the good quarterback. But I want to, before we get started, I want to say thanks to a couple of individuals that I've got to know one of them quite well here in the past 2 weeks, and the other two I just met. But I do know that in being 7 months here as AD, that to be a coach is a truly not a 9-to-5 job. And to be successful as a coach and just about anything in life, you have to have a strong spouse, a strong support network, that while you're working those odd hours, they're at home taking care of things. So Allison, we want to thank you for what you've done and providing support for Bobby. To Ray and Linda, it was great meeting you. Your reputation precedes you. I want to thank you for raising such a great young man that we're proud to call our next coach. I had some criteria. Well, that's for y'all. Thank you so much. We had some criteria that we wanted to meet when we started this search. First of all, we wanted a great leader. Second of all, we wanted a great person who cared about student athletes and was committed to academics. And then third of all, we wanted a great football coach. Now, those are some pretty lofty goals. And I'm telling you today here, we accomplished that. I'm proud to introduce to you someone that's going to lead us in 2013 onto the football field, the next football coach at Mercer University, Mr. Bobby Lamb.
Man, that's great. We haven't played a game yet. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Jim stole my thunder a little bit. I was going to introduce my wife of 22 years, and as you can see, I've outpunted my coverage. And then my mom and dad, and my dad's been involved with, it's hard to believe this, he's been involved as a coach or administrator for 52 years. 52 years. And then my mom, simply put, quite frankly, she's the backbone of our family. Sally and Taylor, my daughter and son, they would love to be here today, but we all felt like school was a little bit more important. So They're in school today, which is where they need to be. I want to thank Mercer administration for this opportunity. From the first day that I met President Underwood, it didn't take long. I was impressed with his vision and his leadership for this great university. They always say it all starts at the top. And trust me, at the top, Mercer's got the best there is in President Underwood. Then when I was working with Jim Cole throughout this process as the athletic director, you could see his passion and desire for this athletic department. I also want to thank the Board of Trustees and their diligent work that they've put on for the last two years making this possible. On November 19th, 2010, Judge Homer Drake stood in this very room on this very spot, and he announced that Mercer would resume football in 2013. 63 days later, I stand here excited and honored to be the next head football coach at Mercer. I can't wait for September 7th, 2013, when, as Judge Drake said, the sights and sounds will return to Mercer University. Can you imagine that day, 2013, as the Mercer Bears enter the field of play to the band, cheerleaders, alumni, boosters, and fans? By the way, Jim, we got to make sure we got a home game on that day. That gives me chills just thinking about it. But what a great day that will be. And by the way, we want to win that football game. I can tell you that right now. I sincerely believe that resuming football here at Mercer will enhance the school spirit, will enhance our alumni relations. Not only will Mercer benefit, but the entire Macon, Middle Georgia area will benefit as well. We must reach out to the communities surrounding this great city. Football will allow us to open doors that have been closed for many years. Our goal will be to build a program that will combine academics and athletics better than anyone in the country. In order to achieve that goal, our program must be built on two principles. And I told this to the Board of Trustees when I met with them. Our program will be built on trust and integrity. And it's important that we recruit student athletes that are trustworthy and fit the Mercer profile. Our staff would do the right way. It would do it the right way, the way college football should be done. Recruiting is the lifeblood of any college athletic program. The criteria that we will use as a coaching staff to evaluate student athletes are four things. There are four things that are important to us. Number one, academic profile. Number two, your athletic profile. Number three, what kind of character that young man has. And number four, what kind of leader is he? We feel that this combination will lead us to be successful here at Mercer on the football field. In closing, I'd like to borrow a paragraph from the legendary Michigan coach, Bo Schembechler. And I think this sums up what college football should be all about. And this is the last paragraph in his book, Bo. And the horn sounded and practice was over. The players took off their helmets and walked lazily off the field, slapping each other, smiling as if they didn't want to leave, because it had been so fun, like it was supposed to be. The sun was setting, the air was cool, and God, if everything could be just like that, just football and laughter and a bunch of good kids. That's what it's all about, you know, the kids, the memories, the wonders of growing up. Me, I'm just a guy with a whistle, and that's all I've ever wanted to be. 2013 will be here before we know it. We got a lot of work to do. Go Bears.
Back in November, when we announced we were returning to college football, I sat down and wrote a list, very formal list, of what characteristics I thought an ideal leader for the football program would have. And the list had 5 items on it. Ideally, I thought it would be great to have someone with strong connections to Georgia high school football. I thought that would be a plus in the candidate. I preferred someone who had a proven track record of leading competitive programs, someone who understood what it's like to be at a private university that emphasizes the highest quality academics, someone with great personal integrity, and someone committed to the academic success of his student athletes. And really, those are in reverse order. Most importantly, somebody who would be committed to the academic success of his student athletes. Jim Cole called me a couple of weeks later and told me about this fellow Bobby Lamb, and he sounded pretty good. And then a few days later, I had a chance to meet with Bobby and Allison in my office, and after the meeting, I told Jim, don't let that guy get away. Because as I went through my checklist, strong connections to Georgia high school football. I mean, he's from a Georgia high school football family with his father and his brother, and having played high school football in Georgia, he was great on that criteria. Has he led a competitive program? He's been a great success at Furman University, 67-40 record. That's very competitive. Understands high quality academics at a private university. I've got a lot of respect for the academics at Furman. I consider it to be a peer school from an academic perspective. So that box was checked. A person of high personal character and integrity. If you spend any length of time at all with Bobby and then begin looking at his background, you see that that box is checked as well. And then finally, and very, very importantly, committed to the academic success of the young men who compete in his program. When you do a little checking into his track record there, you find 97, 98% graduation rate among his student athletes at Furman University. That's about as high as you will find anywhere in Division I. I am thrilled to have Bobby and Allison as a part of the Mercer family. I do not think we could have found a better fit for the university. I do not think we could have found a better person to help us achieve what we're trying to achieve with this program. So Allison, it's great to have you here. And Bobby, it's wonderful having you part of the Mercer family.
Thank you.
Bobby, on behalf of the Athletic Foundation, the Mercer family is delighted to welcome you and your family to the university. We're indeed fortunate to hire a man that has had such outstanding success in graduating athletes and success on the playing field. The Athletic Foundation is ready to help you in any way that you see fit. We want to emphasize one thing, and that is we want you to help us extend our unbeaten record since 1941. Having said that, we're glad you're here.
During the course of the last 2 years, as the trustees have discussed formally and informally the idea of resuming football at Mercer University, a vision began to form from those discussions as to what that football program would look like if it were to come to be. The vision involved young men who would choose Mercer because they knew they would be getting both a superior quality education and the opportunity to continue to play a game that they loved, football. It would involve an understanding that reinstituting football would give Mercer an opportunity to cement relationships with its various and among its various communities, students, alumni, and those in our geographic region. The vision contemplated that we would find a teacher who would coach football but would also help our student athletes learn the valuable lessons that one learns when playing competitive sports. Lessons that translate to life lessons. Today, the first step in achieving that vision is taken. I believe we have found that special teacher who we proudly call Coach. So, on behalf of the trustees of the university, welcome, Coach Lane.
We're not going to make Bobby wear this. But now comes the big moment. We want to take an opportunity and present Bobby with his official gear to help get things started. So, Bobby, if you would step over here and help me. And first of all, we'll give you an official Mercer University hat. See how that fits. I got your size from somebody.
That's good. That's good.